You got to stop thinking small. Small minds don't build big dreams. Listen to me. You weren't born to survive. You were born to dominate. You were born to do something great, but that starts with your mind. You can't think like the crowd and expect to rise above the crowd. Thinking big is a decision, a commitment. It's saying, I don't care what my past looks like. My future is going to be different. You see, the people who change the world don't have more talent than you. They don't have more time than you. They just dare to think bigger than everybody else. They look at a mountain and say, I was built to climb it. They see failure and say, that's my lesson, not my limit. You've been thinking too small for too long. It's time to level up. It's time to stretch, to expand, to push beyond comfort, because comfort zones don't produce champions. Pressure does, and when you think big, you invite that pressure, and that pressure builds diamonds. Stop shrinking to fit in. Start thinking big to stand out. The world's waiting on your vision. Go get it. You can't build a skyscraper with a shack mindset. You can't create legacy with limited vision. I'm telling you right now, small minds can't build big dreams. That's real. That's truth. Some of you are trying to build something massive, something powerful, something that lasts, but your thinking is still stuck in survival mode. You've got a championship vision, but a backyard mentality. And I'm not saying that to tear you down. I'm saying that so you can wake up, so you can hear this and say, you know what? He's right. I've been playing small. I've been dreaming small. I've been shrinking when I was meant to expand. Look, small thinking is safe. It's comfortable. It doesn't cost much. You don't risk embarrassment. You don't risk failure. You don't risk people laughing at you or doubting you. But you know what else you don't get? You don't get growth. You don't get legacy. You don't get freedom. You stay stuck in that cycle of almost made it, almost tried, almost believed. And that cycle will drain your soul, because deep down, you know you were made for more. Deep down, you know you were created to do something beyond average, something that shakes things up, something that changes lives. But it starts in your mind. You've been conditioned to think small. Maybe your parents told you to be realistic. Maybe your teacher said you were too distracted, too much trouble, not focused enough. Maybe life beat you down, and somewhere along the way, you stopped believing big things were possible for you. But I'm here to remind you, your circumstances don't define your capacity. Where you come from doesn't limit where you can go. The only thing that truly limits you is the size of your belief. If your mind is stuck in scarcity, your life will stay stuck in scarcity. If you think in limits, you'll live in limits. I came from nothing. I slept in abandoned buildings. I was a high school dropout. Nobody looked at me and said, that one, he's going to be a world-class speaker. He's going to speak to millions. Nobody saw that. But I had to see it for myself. I had to rewire my brain. I had to reject small thinking, because I knew the dream inside me was too big to stay locked up in average. I started speaking to myself different. I started walking different. I started thinking like I was already in the room I wanted to be in, even if the world hadn't invited me yet. And that's what you got to do. You got to shift the mindset. You got to talk to yourself like you're worth it, like you belong in that boardroom, in that studio, in that courtroom, on that stage. Stop asking for permission to be great. Stop waiting for the world to validate your vision. Validate it yourself. Own it, claim it, walk in it, because small minds don't birth big movements. Playing it safe doesn't rewrite history. And let me tell you something else. It's not just about you. Your big dream isn't just for your glory. It's for the people who are watching you, your kids, your community. That young person who's going to hear your story one day and say, if they did it, I can do it too. That's why you've got to stop thinking small. That's why you've got to stop doubting yourself. Because when you win, you give others permission to win too. So don't shrink your dream to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Don't lower your ceiling because somebody else is scared of heights. Elevate your thinking, expand your vision, get uncomfortable, stretch, grow. You've got it in you. But it starts up here. If you want big results, you need big belief. That's the foundation. That's the spark. That's the difference between those who try and those who transform. You keep waiting for something to happen. You keep sitting around hoping one day the stars will line up, the right opportunity will show up, and suddenly you'll feel ready. But let me tell you something. Thinking big is not something that happens to you. It's something you decide to do. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's a choice, a deliberate, intentional choice. Every single day, you either choose to think average or you choose to think extraordinary. And the problem is too many of us keep choosing average because it feels safer. But I need you to understand this. Safe doesn't take you anywhere. Safe never built an empire. Safe never changed a generation. Thinking big doesn't mean you have all the answers. It doesn't mean you got the money to support the degree or the background. It just means you made a decision that your current situation isn't going to define your future. You made a decision to believe in something bigger than your environment. You made a decision to trust the vision, even when you can't see how it's going to happen. That's what thinking big is. It's not about being unrealistic. It's about being unwilling to settle for less than you were created for. And don't let people fool you. The people you look up to, the ones who are doing it big, they weren't born with more than you. They weren't handed the dream. They weren't chosen. They chose. They chose to think different. They chose to act on that belief. They chose to fight through rejection, through fear, through failure. And you have that same power, the same 24 hours, the same ability to choose. But every time you let fear make the decision, you're choosing small. Every time you doubt yourself, you're choosing small. Every time you let your past speak louder than your future, you're choosing small. I've been broke. I've been homeless. I've been invisible. I know what it feels like when the world counts you out. But I also know what happens when you count yourself in. I made a decision. I said, this ain't it. This ain't the end of my story. And I didn't know how I was going to make it, but I chose to think like I already had. I walked like I belonged on stages before I ever touched one. I studied like I was going to teach nations. I trained my mind to see something bigger, and that choice changed everything. Because when you think big, your actions get bigger. Your hustle gets stronger. Your patience grows deeper. You stop making excuses and start making moves. You don't let failure stop you. You let it shape you. You don't need someone to believe in you when you believe in yourself. You don't need permission to go after what's already inside you. That dream didn't come from nowhere. It was planted in you for a reason. Now it's time for you to water it with belief, with faith, with work, and with bold decisions. But I need you to catch this. You can't think big once a week. You can't be all in only when things feel good. Thinking big is a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's how you wake up, how you speak, how you move, how you respond to struggle, how you bounce back after a loss. It's not a one-time hype. It's a daily discipline, because every single day something is going to come at you and try to pull your thinking back to small. Some failure, some criticism, some delay. But when you've decided, truly decided to think big, none of that will shake you. You'll keep pushing, keep rising, keep building. You want to change your life, change the way you think. You want to break the cycle, make a different choice. Stop waiting for things to be perfect and start believing that you have everything you need to begin. You don't need more time. You need more commitment to the vision in your heart. The dream gets real the moment you make the choice, not the moment it shows up. So what are you choosing today? Because thinking big, that's your superpower. It's not about what you have, it's about what you believe. It's about what you decide. Right here, right now. The future belongs to those who choose it on purpose. You've been walking around like your past is a chain around your neck. Like every mistake, every failure, every wrong turn is who you are. But I came to tell you something powerful today. You are not your past. You are not the things you did. You are not the pain you went through. You are not the labels they put on you. I don't care if you've been broke, addicted, abandoned, ignored, counted out, locked up. That is not your identity. That is your history, not your destiny. See, some of you are still living in the echo of what went wrong. You keep replaying the same story in your head, telling yourself why you can't win, why you can't rise, why you're not worthy. But let me ask you something. How long are you going to keep letting your past control your future? How long are you going to keep punishing yourself for things that are already over? The moment is gone. The chapter is closed. But you're still sitting there rereading the pain like it's the whole book. You've got to make a decision. Either you stay stuck in who you were or you start stepping into who you're supposed to be. You don't get both. You can't chase purpose and keep dragging around regret. You can't run forward if you're looking backwards. Listen to me, God didn't bring you this far just to remind you of what you lost. He brought you through it so you could rise above it. so you could grow from it, so you could help somebody else out of it. I need you to get this deep in your heart. Your past was a classroom, not a prison. It was there to teach you, not trap you. Every failure taught you how to get back up. Every heartbreak showed you your strength. Every wrong path made your direction clearer. You don't need to be ashamed of it. You need to own it. You need to say, yeah, that was me, but that's not me anymore. Growth means you've got the courage to look at your past and say, thank you for the lesson. Now get out of my way. You keep disqualifying yourself based on things you can't change. But let me tell you something. Some of the most powerful people on this planet came from brokenness, from pain, from nothing. They didn't get a perfect start, but they made a powerful decision. They said, my story doesn't end here. And I don't know who told you that your past defines your worth, but they lied to you. You more than that. You more than the trauma, more than the loss, more than the failure. You are purpose. You are strength. You are becoming. When I was homeless, eating out of trash cans, sleeping in abandoned buildings, people looked at me like I was finished. They saw the dropout, the failure, the mistake, but I saw something different. I saw a seed. I saw potential. I saw hope. And I made a decision not to let my past be my ceiling. I used it as fuel. I use it as fire. I use it as the very thing that made me unstoppable. You've got to stop letting your past be the reason you quit and start letting it be the reason you grind. The truth is, your past doesn't disqualify you. It gives you a voice that somebody else needs. It gives you a testimony that somebody else is waiting on. You think you're alone? You think nobody understands what you've been through? No. People are out there praying for someone who's been through what you've been through and came out the other side. But you can't help them if you keep hiding. If you keep pretending, you're still broken. You're not broken. You're being rebuilt. Stronger, wiser, louder, better. So it's time to rewrite the narrative. Stop repeating the pain and start declaring the promise. Don't just survive your past, own it, and then rise. Because the greatest version of you is not behind you. It's not in who you used to be. It's in the you that wakes up every day and says, I'm still here, still fighting, and I'm not finished yet. Let me tell you something real. Your biggest fight is not out there. It's not with your boss. It's not with your haters. It's not with your bank account. Your biggest fight is in your mind. That's the real battleground. That's a place where your future is either built or buried. And the reason some of you can't move forward, the reason you keep getting stuck is because you're losing the fight in your head before you ever take a step out in the world. You wake up and before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already throwing punches. You're not good enough. Why even try? You always mess it up anyway. And you just take it. You just sit there and listen to it like it's the truth. But I'm telling you, just because that thought shows up in your mind doesn't mean it deserves your agreement. Just because it's loud doesn't mean it's right. You've got to understand your mind is powerful, more powerful than you know. It will build you or break you. It will elevate you or enslave you. You feed it fear, it'll grow fear. You feed it doubt, it'll grow doubt. But if you feed it hope, belief, discipline, vision, man, it will become your greatest weapon. It'll give you the strength to walk into rooms where you don't belong and act like you were born to be there. It'll give you the grit to keep showing up when nobody's clapping for you, when nobody believes in you but you. But that don't happen by accident. You've got to train your mind like you train your body. You've got to get in the mental gym. You've got to speak life to yourself, even when life ain't speaking it back. You've got to wake up and choose the thoughts you think. Just like you choose what you wear, you choose your thoughts. You wake up and say, nah, I'm not carrying that fear today. I'm not dragging around yesterday's failure today. Today, I walk in purpose. Today, I walk in power. And it's hard. I know it's hard. Life's going to hit you. Life's going to give you every reason to believe it's over. You're going to get betrayed. You're going to fall. You're going to cry. But listen to me. Don't lose twice. Don't lose to the situation and then lose again in your mind. Don't let the storm outside become a storm inside. You've got to be the eye of the storm, calm, focused, locked in. Because if you can win the war in your mind, nothing out there can stop you. When I was homeless, I didn't win because I had money. I didn't win because I had connections. I won because I decided in my mind, this is not the end for me. I fought through depression. I fought through rejection. I fought through the voice that said, you'll never be anything. I silenced that voice with vision, with discipline, with grind, with faith. I told my mind where we were going. I didn't let it tell me where we had to stay. You've got to be ruthless with the thoughts that don't serve you. I'm talking about cutting them off like they're trying to rob you, because they are. That thought that says you're not smart enough, it's robbing your confidence. That voice that says you're too old, too late, too broken, it's robbing your purpose. And every day you listen to it, it's still in time you can't get back. So what do? You fight. You show up with affirmations. You show up with gratitude. You show up with discipline. You show up with action. You stop entertaining negative thoughts like they guests in your house, and you start kicking them out like intruders. You build a mindset so strong that when fear knocks, faith answers the door. Because once your mind is made up, once you flip the switch, the game changes. The world can't hold you. Circumstances can't break you. Failure doesn't define you. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you become unstoppable. That's when you start surviving and start dominating. It all starts in the mind. You've got to win there first. Before the trophies, before the stage, before the applause, win in your mind, and you've already won the war. You keep asking how to stay consistent, how to stay motivated, how to keep going when it's hard, when you're tired, when nobody's watching. Let me give it to you straight. It's vision. Vision is what fuels discipline. Discipline doesn't come from hype. It doesn't come from music or coffee or motivation videos. That stuff fades. But vision is deeper. Vision is spiritual. Vision is when you've seen something in your heart so clearly, so powerfully, that you refuse to settle for anything less than that reality. You wake up and grind, not because someone told you to, but because you've already seen where you're going. See, some of you are struggling with discipline because your vision is blurry. You don't know what you're working toward. You don't know who you're trying to become. So every distraction becomes appealing. Every temptation feels like an option. Every excuse sounds reasonable. But when your vision is locked in, when you've seen your future with clarity, there's no room for excuses. There's no room for comfort zones. Discipline becomes a natural response to the life you're building. I wake up at 3 a.m., not because I like getting up early, not because it's easy. I get up because I've got a vision. I've got people to reach, lives to change. I see myself speaking to millions. I've seen myself walking across stages, not for applause, but for impact. I've seen myself creating a legacy that outlives me, and that vision makes it impossible for me to sleep in when I know I could be working. That vision pulls me out of bed. That vision keeps me away from the wrong crowd. That vision makes me say no to average and yes to greatness. Vision gives purpose to your pain. It gives reason to your sacrifice. It tells you that the grind is worth it. You think I like missing parties, turning off the TV, cutting people off who didn't want to grow? No, but my vision was more important than their company. My future was louder than their opinions. When you got a clear vision, you don't let temporary pleasure kill permanent progress. You don't eat junk when you're seeing yourself healthy. You don't quit when you're seeing yourself at the finish line. And the problem is, some of you are disciplined until it hurts. You're consistent until it gets boring. But vision makes you consistent even when it's dry, even when it's quiet, even when there's no praise. Vision gives your work a why. And when you have a strong enough why, the how takes care of itself. You stop needing motivation because you've got mission. You stop waiting to feel like it because you know why you're doing it. I'm telling you right now, if you want more discipline, you need more vision. You need to sit down, block out the noise, and ask yourself, what do I really want? Who do I want to become? What does my dream life look like? And once you see it, once it's real to you, build your life around that. Align your actions with that vision. If it doesn't feed the vision, it doesn't belong in your routine. If it doesn't grow you, it doesn't deserve your energy. Discipline without vision is punishment, but discipline with vision, that's power. That's what separates the greats from the good. The great ones don't have more talent. They've just seen something that others haven't. They've seen it so clearly that they're willing to bleed for, willing to suffer for, willing to keep pushing when the world says stop. That's what vision does. It ignites something in your soul that no obstacle can put out. So if you're tired of quitting, tired of starting over, tired of falling off track, stop trying to force discipline and start feeding your vision. Start imagining the life that's waiting on the other side of your consistency. Start picturing the version of you that wins, that rises, that conquers. And once that picture is clear, protect it, water it, speak life to it, and let that vision drive you every single day until what you saw in your mind becomes what you're standing in with your life. Let me tell you something you might not want to hear, but you need to hear. Your circle's either pushing you to greatness or pulling you into mediocrity. The people you hang around, the voices you listen to, the energy you surround yourself with, that's not just background noise. That's shaping your elevation. That's shaping your future. You can't hang around people with small minds and expect to live a big life. It doesn't work like that. See, some of y'all are grinding, praying, fasting, working, but nothing's changing. And you think it's your effort. You think you're not doing enough. But what if I told you it's not your grind that's holding you back? It's your group. You're trying to fly, but you got anchors tied to your legs. Every time you try to lift off, they pulling you back down. Every time you talk about your dreams, they laugh. Every time you speak on discipline, they clown you. And you still calling them friends. You're still giving them access to your life. That's the problem. You've got to check your environment because association is contagious. You hang around 5 focused people, you become the 6. You hang around 5 lazy people, you become the 6. You don't even have to try. The energy transfers, the mindset transfer, the expectations transfer. So if you're serious about elevation, you've got to get serious about association. You've got to be intentional about who gets access to your time, your space, your mind. Everybody can't go where you're going. And I know it hurts. I know some of the people you love the most are the ones holding you back, but hear me. Loving someone doesn't mean letting them limit you. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to cut them off forever, but you do have to create space because the version of you that wins, that grows, that fulfills purpose, that version can't survive in toxic soil. You can't plant a seed in concrete and expect it to bloom. You've got to protect your atmosphere. When I started to rise, I had to change my circle. I had boys I grew up with, people I rode with for years, but we weren't aligned anymore. I was trying to build legacy. They were trying to stay comfortable. I was chasing purpose. They were chasing the weekend. I had to make a decision, them or the vision. And I chose the vision, not because I'm better than them, not because I don't care, but because I couldn't let their comfort kill my calling. You need people in your life who challenge you. People who push you, people who say, I love you, but that ain't it. You can do better. People who celebrate your wins, but don't let you settle. People who don't just talk dreams, they live them. That kind of energy will change your whole mindset. It'll pull you higher without even saying a word. You'll start leveling up just by being in the room. Some of y'all keep going back to the same group, hoping they'll understand, hoping they'll support you. Let me free you. They don't have to get it. They don't have to cheer. They don't even have to come along. But you still have to move. You still have to rise. You still have to become everything you were created to be. And if that means walking alone for a season, so be it. Because God will bring new people into your life. People who speak your language. People who see your light and protect it, not dim it. But he can't do that if you keep holding on to old ties that don't fit your future. So take inventory. Who's around you? What are they speaking to you? What do they expect from you? What do they celebrate in you? That matters. You can't fly with people who don't believe in wings. You can't win with people who are committed to losing. You've got to be around winners. Not perfect people, but people with vision, people with drive, people who are becoming, because association shapes elevation. And your future is too valuable to be casual about your circle. Choose wisely, protect your space, elevate your company, and you'll elevate your life. Everybody's got dreams. Everybody's got goals. Everybody's got something they want to do, something they want to build, something they want to become. But let me tell you the truth. Dreams don't work unless you do. Vision without action is just hallucination. You can talk about it all day. You can write it on a wall. You can pray about it, post about it, speak affirmations over it. But if you don't move, if you don't execute, if you don't grind, then it's just fantasy. And I'm not here for fantasy. I'm here for clarity. You're waiting for clarity. You're waiting for everything to make sense, for all the pieces to line up. But life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards movement. It rewards courage. It rewards the one who dares to take the first step, even when the staircase is invisible. Stop waiting on the green light and start moving, because motion creates momentum. The more you move, the more things begin to happen. But nothing happens when you sit still. You say you believe. Okay, show me. Because belief, that doesn't lead to action, is dead. You say you've got faith, then take the step, build the business, write the book, apply for the job, start the workout, whatever it is, go do it. You don't need more motivation, you need movement. You don't need more knowledge, you need execution. You've already read the books, you've already watched the videos. Now it's time to put in the work. And not just once, not just on Monday, not just when you're inspired. I'm talking about relentless action, consistent action, showing up every day, tired, busy, bored, discouraged, and still put in the reps. That's the difference. That's what separates the winners from the watchers. The winners wake up and work even when it doesn't feel good, even when no one's clapping, even when results are slow. They grind in silence until the results make the noise. You've got to stop flirting with your purpose and start being faithful to it. You keep showing up for a day or two and then ghosting your goals. That's not how greatness works. You want results? Then marry the process. Commit to it when it's exciting and when it's exhausting. Don't just work when the vibe is right. Work until the vision is reality. There's power in small steps taken daily. Don't underestimate that. You don't have to leap every day. You just have to move. One more email, one more workout, one more chapter, one more hour of practice. Stack enough of those and you'll look up and realize you built something. You've become something. While everyone else was talking, you were building. And yes, it's going to be hard. There's no avoiding that. There will be setbacks. There will be days when nothing works. But relentless action means you show up anyway. You adjust, you learn, you pivot, but you don't quit. You don't pause for permission. You don't stop because it's not perfect. You take that imperfect action and you keep moving forward. Because action is the antidote to fear. Action silences doubt. Action creates confidence. Confidence is not something you wait to feel, it's something you earn through execution. Listen to me, you've got to become dangerous with discipline, aggressive with effort, radical with responsibility. No more blaming, no more waiting, no more excuses. If it's gonna happen, it's up to you. Not your boss, not the government, not your past. You have the power to shift your life, but only if you act. So wake up every day with hunger, with intention, with urgency. Don't waste time, invest it. Don't wish for more, work for more. Take the first step, then take the next. And don't stop until what you see in your mind is what you see in your life. That's how champions are made, not by dreaming, not by hoping, but by doing over and over and over again. Relentless, focused, driven. That's what it takes. And you've got it in you, but you got to prove it with your grind.